Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched Doom Patrol Season 1, Episode 2, Donkey Patrol. But before I talk about that episode, I want to talk about all of the comics that I picked up this week. Starting off with the series that I'm behind on. So I haven't read, I won't be able to read these for a little while. First, Barbarella Deja Thoris. I am way behind on all the Barbarella comics. This is issue number 2 of this new run. I think just plain old Barbarella was like 12 issues and a holiday issue. And then they got started up with the Deja Thoris crossover there. Then we have Uncanny X-Men number 12. I'm not sure how many issues behind on this I am now. But this being, I think it's a weekly issue, maybe a bi-weekly issue. I'm falling behind fast on that one. I'm only a couple of issues behind on Jim Henson's Beneath the Dark Crystal. Issue number 7 is here. It looks like this issue has these I don't know the names of the species and all of that kind of stuff. There's a new Dark Crystal movie. I think it's coming out on Netflix pretty soon. Getting pretty excited for that. I need to go back and watch the original movie. It's been a long time since I've seen the original. When I was real little, I think I saw it and it freaked me out, so I avoided it for a long time. But then when I finally went back and watched it, like in college, I was like, "This is really cool." So I need to go back and watch it again. But this book has been very fun. It's mostly focused on the fire people. Whatever they're actually called, I forget. But the cover of this one suggests that the fire people are interacting with those the elf like non-fire people. But yeah, I sound so stupid talking about that because I don't know. I don't remember anything about it. But anyway, that's been a pretty fun comic. The art is really colorful, and I describe it as playful. That there's a lot of I don't know. It's fun. It's fun, but there's some dark stuff going on with people's embers going out and things like that. The fire in them dying. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's really for kids, but it does have artwork that's is fitting of that kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, the one comic that I have actually read from this week, because I pretty much everything from this week I'm behind on, but I saw this on the shelf as I was about to check out. I was like, oh, I should get that. Conspiracy Denver Airport. This is actually Conspiracy Illuminati number 3, which is a series I did not know about, and I want to check out issues 1 and 2 now. And then issue number 4 that's coming up, it will be Conspiracy Social Media, I think it is. But this cover, you have Blucifer. So Blucifer, if you don't know, it's not really explained in this comic. Blucifer is featured in like a couple of pages, but there is a lot of conspiracy about Blucifer itself. Not conspiracy, actual true things about Blucifer that is pretty creepy. The sculptor of it, look up this statue. I don't know what the official name of the statue is, but the sculptor was he died while he was making this statue. Literally while he was making this statue, the statue fell on him and killed him. And the statue was the work on the statue was continued by his son, and it stands there as you drive into the airport of Pena Boulevard, and it has his glowing eyes, and it's super creepy. The one on the cover, it has wings. The actual statue does not have wings, and it does not breathe fire, at least as far as we know. It might actually breathe fire, but they don't ever use the feature because it uses up it uses up natural gas, but there's plenty of that out on the east side of Colorado. Anyway, I liked this book. It's more so just lightly referenced a lot of the actual conspiracies and went into its own thing of like, oh, this part is real, that there's a whole underground, and it's where the Illuminati have their initiation and stuff like that. So it's not spoiling anything, I guess, but check it out, especially if you're from Denver. I think you'll enjoy this. They reference the whole Grand Hall reconstruction that's going on right now, and a lot of the artwork and things like that. It's pretty cool. Then we have Jughead, The Hunger, number 12. I like these books a lot. I think I'm a couple issues behind on that one. But Jughead, he is a werewolf, and there's all kinds of supernatural stuff going on. It's an awesome series. I like it a lot. Vampironica is also very good. I think that Vampironica itself has ended, but the last issue, they had a preview, or they had a page saying that Jughead, The Hunger / Vampironica is coming up at some point, which is kind of weird because they are like separate from each other. The whole storyline's like you have all the same characters, but they're in completely different situations with vampires versus being people being werewolves. So there are some people who are vampires in one, and then those same people are werewolves in the other one. Or maybe not. Maybe it is separated enough. No, they're still different. They're different. They're not in the same chronology. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Then we have Mars Attack, issue number 5. This has been a pretty fun book. We've got a maze. Is this an actual maze? So it has a picture of one of the Martians on the cover, and then it says start and end. Except the start, it isn't really specific exactly where the start and end point is. But that's a pretty fun idea for that. Mars Attacks, it's been pretty fun. It focuses on a father and son who's just trying to survive when the Mars attack happens. Middle West, number 4. I think I've talked about this book before. What I didn't mention is that I got the first issue signed, except I was out of town when I think it's the artist. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either the writer or the artist. I can't remember. But they were in the comic shop that I go to, Hall of Justice in Parker, Colorado, and they were nice enough to get me a signed copy, even though I couldn't actually be there to get it signed in person. But I've been enjoying this book a lot, and it's totally worth checking out if you like. I'd say it kind of the thing that it reminds me the most of is I Killed Giants. Is that the one? I think I got the name of that correct. That's what it most reminds me of, just from like the kind of feel of the book, not necessarily with specifics. There are some specifics that remind me of it more so than others. Then we have Star Wars Adventures. So that was number 4. Middle West number 4 came out this week. Star Wars Adventures number 18. These are a lot of fun, especially I think younger readers enjoy this series a lot. I think I've talked about the last issue before, having actually read it. But a cool thing is that they have two stories in each issue, and so one is like a standalone story, and then the other one usually is a continuing story, like in 5 or 6 parts. This issue has The Flight of the Falcon, Part 5, in it. But on the cover, we have Padme and Jar Jar Binks. So we'll see how that standalone story goes there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 10. Welcome to Chicago, says on the cover. Each time I read an issue of this, I've completely forgotten what happened in the previous. But it is it's fun getting caught back up and trying to remember exactly what was happening, because this book is crazy. All kinds of weird stuff happens, and I'm sure even more weird stuff will happen there in Chicago for them. Turok number 2, awesome cover. We've got Turok and his friends or family or whatever, 2 of these guys, and then there's a bunch of like soldiers in the background, like old timey Revolution era soldiers back there, or Confederate soldiers maybe, back during the Wild Wild West, those types of soldiers. But they're all fighting a pack of Velociraptors or Utah Raptors or Captoraptors, Cardcaptor Raptor Sakura. Is it Cardcaptor Sakura? I can't remember. I've never watched that or read that. Anyway, Turok number 2, number 1 I enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to that. Unstoppable Wasp number 5. All younger readers should read this book, especially, just all young readers should read this book. It's pretty awesome, and it was a couple issues ago that they went to like a wrestling match, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But there's lots more reasons to read it. All of the characters are young women, and they're they're just helping each other out through hard situations and being really supportive of each other. And they all have their specific things that they're going through, and it's really nice to see all of them working together to get through all of that. Then we have Naomi number 2. There's so many comics this week. Oh my god. I've been holding them in my hand as opposed to having like a desk or something to set them on, and my hand is getting very tired. Anyway, I'm going to switch hands. That's a good solution for that. Naomi number 2. I talked about number 1 leading up to so this is a spoiler for issue number 1 that there's the last time in Naomi's town something crazy happened with superhero type stuff was actually when she was born, or when she first arrived there, the day she was or something. It's revealed at the end that she's involved with the last time something crazy like a Superman encounter happened. And this is revealed by this local mechanic who is just this huge guy. But I'm excited because this is a brand new character. We're all finding out at the same time what's going on with her, and what does she have superpowers? What can she do if she does? It may be revealed in this. Let's see, this quote from Multiversity Comics on the cover says, "By focusing on creating such a compelling new character and letting the story unravel around her, the creative team hit gold." I thought I would get I got the variant cover for issue number 1. I guess I didn't get it for this one. But they still have copies of it, because this one is part of the Wonder Comics line, which is geared more towards younger readers, which I absolutely recommend this one, as well as the Unstoppable Wasp, like I already said, and Star Wars Adventures. But that because of that, or maybe not necessarily because of that, but the regular covers of this has that quote on the front, and it's not nearly as cool as the variant covers. Then we have Lucifer number 5. I'm behind on that, so I don't know what's going on with everything there. It is a very cool book with all kind. Actually, I think I did get caught up, except I read them out of order. I read issue number 4, not realizing I hadn't read number 3 yet, and so I was like, "Oh, this is kind of confusing." No, that's not what that. Yeah, I think I did do that with that. I also did that with Justice League. I read issue number 17. I was like, "Oh wait, I haven't read 16 yet." And so I read 16 already knowing all the stuff that happens that affects the next issue. But Justice League number 18, I have been loving this. This is the series that I've most reliably, except for reading out of order with those 2 issues, I've most reliably been keeping up on, especially with how frequently it comes out, since it is this one weekly? This one might be weekly. Yeah, it's awesome. Justice League 18. I'm really looking forward to that. Catwoman number 8. I love this variant cover, and it has Selena Kyle, Catwoman, eating some popcorn watching Batman fight Joker, with all the other villains in the audience as well. It's a pretty cool cover. The regular cover just has Catwoman hanging out with some stuff out behind her. Are those her enemies? I can't remember. It's like a wisp. No, it's a cat. Oh, I see. They're like in the silhouette of a cat, except you don't see any of the cat's legs. That's why I was confused. It looks like a weird ghost at first glance. That large cat silhouette. And then we have Batman issue number 65. I do not normally subscribe to Batman, but because this is part of this is a tie-in with Heroes in Crisis, I had to get these. This is following from Batman number 64 and the Flash number 64 or 65. I'm not sure. But this is part 3, The Price of Vengeance. And we have all what's going on this cover? We have Batman jumping out of the Batmobile, and they're pissed. They're pissed at each other. The Flash sends a vortex of Speed Force power into the Batmobile there on the cover. So those are the new comics that I picked up this week. The only one I have actually read, like I said, is the Conspiracy Denver Airport. I recommend actually look like search for Denver Airport conspiracies, because there's some interesting stuff on there. I mean, maybe like 1% of everything is actually true, but it's, for me, reading conspiracies a lot of time, it's like reading fiction and science fiction. And it's like, what kind of crazy stuff can people come up with, or like alternate history type of things and all that. I love that kind of stuff because it's like, it's just a big what if, and it doesn't have to be true to be entertaining, or just because it's I find it entertaining, I don't have to believe that it's true either. It's just fun to read. It can get, I mean, and if some of it's true, I don't know. Maybe some of it is true. I mean, there are some weird pieces of art over there, and you know. I'm just saying there's some interesting ideas. That's like I'm talking smack. Talking to AJ about flat Earth things. Like, I'm just saying there's some interesting ideas that they have. Okay, so let's now talk. Oh, this is a long episode. That's okay. There's only 3 days left in the month. I still have plenty of not bandwidth, but storage space for the podcast to fill up. So here we go. Doom Patrol episode 2. I'm making a note to myself. This is at like the 19.5-minute mark. Doom Patrol episode. I guess I should actually. I'm not. There's no way I'm gonna remember that. Doom Patrol Season 1, Episode 2, Donkey Patrol. This episode is nuts, and I love it. We got Mr. Nobody just screwing with all these guys. He's being the narrator for us and for them and for this bizarre other world that they go to via a goat. Oh, spoilers, ahoy. I'm going to talk about what happens in this episode. So at the end of the first episode, we have this portal open up, this hole open up in the ground there in the town that they are at. I can't remember the town. I like this show so much, except that I'm really bad at remembering names for the most part. Is it Portsmouth? It's Port something, I think. It might be, maybe not at all. But it's this hole opens up, created by Mr. Nobody, played by Alan Tudyk, and it swallows up the entire town, including the guy, Timothy Dalton. Crap, what's his name? Is it Silas? Maybe. I think maybe. And Jane goes after him. As after the bus, she fails to keep the bus from getting sucked into the hole, and so she goes in after him, and the rest of them are left like, what, Rita and Negative Man, what's his actual name? They are not interested in investigating anything. So they get the hell out of there, and Robot Man is left on his own. Cliff is left on his own, trying to figure out what's going on, and he sees that there's a goat. This goat has something to do with it, and after having heard about something crazy going on the night before, this is the next morning, Cyborg, or Victor, he comes and helps capture the goat and gets involved in this whole situation. But he's not interested in doing all that stuff back home. His dad comes after him later on and says, "What are you doing out here?" They know Timothy Dalton, and his dad doesn't want him involved with all of this, and he says, "Nope, I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I figured it out." That was at the end of the episode, though. Before that, they're trying to figure out... Well, first, Jane gets thrown up. The goat brought back to the house, throws up Jane, and Robot Man brings her inside and to try to figure out what's going on. She's kind of losing it, cycling through all of her different personas, her identities, her what are they called? Alters? Are they called I don't know what she calls them. What's the most politically correct, least offensive term for DID folks? Except in this case, it's a DID person with special powers for each identity, and they can like teleport around, because we see footage that she's like bouncing around the room, not literally bouncing, but like flashing in and out of positions, which is interesting. She refers to the underground as where all those personalities, identities live. So that's pretty interesting. I think that this is the most interesting part of the show, other than all the other crazy stuff. The whole show is great. But Robot Man's trying to figure all of that out with Cyborg's help a little bit, but then Cyborg gets involved with this goat business. So they all kind of switch. Robot Man was like obsessed with the goat, but then when Jane comes back out of the goat, this sounds nuts. This show was so weird. He's like trying to take care of her, figure out what's going on. After he comes across the footage, but Katie comes out and she's like the Human Torch, just throwing fire everywhere, gets all crazy mad at them, and they get her to calm down, and everything's all right. for the most part. But yeah, the other three. So Cyborg goes out and helps him figure out what's going on with his goat. The goat is a door to this other dimension, this created space that Mr. Nobody made. It's like this whole weird exhibit type of thing. He is interacting with them through pre-recorded messages and narration. Overall, they go back into like their origins, and it's really, it's kind of retreading some stuff from the first episode, but at the same time it's like reinforcing that stuff and making them face those things, because especially for Rita, she hasn't really, I mean, it's been a long time since she's probably even thought about it back in those days. And I don't know, is he trying to help them or just trying to piss them off? I'm not sure. But they do successfully get out of there when the alien entity that's inside of Negative Man gets them back out of the situation, because they are getting put through the ringer. This episode, we see a lot of Cyborg's origins when he was just left for dead in the wherever he was when all that happened. He was all messed up before he got fixed by the father box. It was the father box. We don't see that part of it. We only see him like dying, and he gets rescued from that torture by that electrical energy guy, alien entity fella. So he's Negative Man. He's trying to get like make things work when they get back. He says, "We gotta figure this out, because you just kind of mess up everything for me. Like whenever you want to, we need to work together with this type of thing." So again, this takes place in 2019, but we see these guys in Titans, and I'm still not sure. I guess I could just go back and watch that episode. I'm not sure if all of this is happening before or after Titans. That part of Titans. Like, have they already met Gar? Or have they yet to meet him? I'm not sure, because it sounded like he had been with them for a while, but also at the same time, they only just met, or Robot Man only just met Jane. So I don't know what the timeline is, how they match up together. I guess there is really only that one episode that they have to match up at all, because Gar gets the heck out of there and he's no longer with them from that point. But yeah, they do say that people come and go, so this very well could have taken place after that. Because there wasn't really any suggestions of them doing much as far as superhero business goes. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're seeing everything in chronological order as far as the present day on each show. But yeah, we'll see how it develops from there. Anything else? Was there anything else I want to talk about for this episode? I don't know. I really enjoyed the fourth wall breaking qualities of Mr. Nobody. He's already doing that in the first episode, but it's taken to an even higher level in this episode, because he's talking, like, right at the start, he's talking about, like, oh, I'm talking to fans of Grant Morrison and the three new people who stuck around after that goat thing. It's like that. I like it a lot. So yeah, I heard, or I read, I didn't deep dive into the article or anything. I just saw a headline that Titans season 2 is delayed from what is originally going to be finished, I guess. But I don't see that as very much of an issue, because they haven't actually announced when it's coming back anyway. So I don't see that being much of a problem, unless we just don't have any new content for a long time while we're waiting for that. if that was meant to be the next thing that follows what they have announced, following the Harley Quinn series. I think that's the latest. The last thing, no, Swamp Thing, I think, is the last thing that'll come out this year. Yeah, I'm not sure, but they haven't set a date for Titans season 2 anyway, so I think it'll be just fine. Yeah, I can't wait to see episode 2. I'm gonna keep watching. I started watching the episode a second time, because the first episode I watched twice, like back to back, and this episode I wanted to watch twice back to back as well. And I got kind of sidetracked doing some other stuff, and I decided I'll just record this episode real quick and then get back to watching it. This is like one of the only shows right now that I actually want to watch multiple times, like right away. And I'd say that's a real testament to how much fun I'm having watching this show. So that's it for this week's comics and Doom Patrol episode 2. Looks like there's another that they're just going with the Patrol names of episodes. The first episode is Doom Patrol. This was Donkey Patrol, and then next week's was also something Patrol. I forget what it was. It might have been something with a D again, but anyway. Let me know what you thought about all these comics and Doom Patrol episode 2 by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. And join me next time for whatever comes next. Maybe skip ahead all the way to the next Doom Patrol and comic books episode. That's what I meant. That's it for now. Thanks for listening. This has been TIW Podcast. Bye.